Hello viewers, and welcome to Adam's Kitchen on Trust TV. I'm the usual chef Adam Mani Angora. As usual, we try to bring some menus which we all learn together, and cook. Among other things that we have been doing today, we are making something that is global, that is known. That is what I call Adam's Noodles. Noodles is something that is somehow unique to Asian people, especially the Chinese areas and so on, but it has become global. Since we were kids, people have been making noodles to serve to their children for breakfast and so on. Being one of the fastest thing among the fast food, noodles will be served today. In front of me, you can see the ingredients that we have available for us today. But one thing that I forgot to mention is that we are serving today's Adam's Noodles with orange juice, fresh, healthy orange juice. Always prioritize health. However, let me mention the ingredients that we have today for you, right? Of course, we have the noodles, we have some cabbage. Here we have yellow and red pepper, and some red onions. We have cucumber, some carrots, dried ginger. If you like, you could use fresh one, right? So we also have garlic, we have dried mint leaves, we also have some lime which we are going to squeeze and use the juice, and also we have seasoning, some oil, some water, and of course we are going to fry some egg to serve together. And here is our orange that we are going to extract the juice. But before we go on, let us go for a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. To begin with, we are going to, of course, mentioning the health issue, we are going to make sure that we rinse the oranges really, really well. Although these oranges were well washed with detergent, to remove all the dusts and so on, the market dust and so on. Yet we thought it will be a much wiser idea if we rinse it again, to ensure that no harmful substances from the detergent are found. So for this orange juice, perhaps we will make about 50 cl for serving of one person. And for that, it depends on how juicy the orange is. So you can't directly determine the number of oranges that you cut. So what we do is we cut as much oranges as possible to begin extracting them, and then see the quantity that we obtain. So having washed oranges, now we begin by cutting them. And noodles are something that you don't want to cook and then keep before serving, which is the reason why we have decided to serve this dish by extracting our orange juice first, and then when it is ready, we'll keep it refrigerated while we prepare the Adam's noodles. You can see, depending on what is available to you to extract the orange juice, you could either use the machine or manual juicer. For this purpose, we prefer to use the manual juicer. And another advantage of using the manual juicer is that in case of power outage, if you do not have electricity, you don't have to rely on the electric machine. You can just use the manual juicer and extract your orange juice. So for those who have this kind of juicer at home, this manual juicer, I would recommend that whenever you are pressing the orange, you know, like this. I would recommend using your hand to hold this and then push it, because you can see from behind there is kind of Allen key. So the more you press, actually the more this thing loose. So you don't want that to happen constantly, because you will have to be bringing your Allen key and tying it again. As I did mention before, depending on how juicy the orange is, that will determine the number of oranges you need to cut to get a desired quantity. For instance, this one, we are lucky that the oranges are really good, and after cutting 7 oranges, we are able to extract 500 ml of orange juice, which I will keep in inside of freezer for some time. So we'll keep it in freezer to get cold while we prepare Adam's noodles. So it's now time to prepare the noodles. First of all, let me bring some egg, which I'll be frying much later. Okay, I break the eggs, and for this egg, actually we do not want to put much fancy things. So all we need is first to add some seasoning in it. I normally add just a pinch of salt, you know. So, and then I would whisk the egg. Okay. So I would open my pan, but since I am adding a few stuff like this, red and yellow pepper and some onions too, I'll go ahead and cut them into pieces, possibly very much tiny pieces. Depend on how you want it. If you are preparing your own, you know, try to be as creative as possible. You know, they say there is art in making food. So while you try to make your food taste as delicious as possible, you would also love to have it look as beautiful as possible. So cutting your pepper and other stuff to a desired size and quantity also matters when it comes to beautifying your dish. We don't want it to be too spicy, and therefore we are not going to put much of pepper. Then we cut some onions also into thin, very thin slices. I am adding 4 pieces of, or 4 cloves of garlic. And I will cut it into much thinner and smaller pieces. So you can see sometimes I prefer to remove the skin of the carrot before I shred it, but this time around I would just like to use it with the skin, without removing the skin. And also the slices, I want them a bit wider as compared to making it into much thinner pieces. My cabbage. And for the cucumber, this time around, unlike in the previous episodes, I would slice the cucumber into 2 equal halves, and then go ahead and start my fire. Let me use the bigger burner so that it cooks much faster. Where is my match? Now we are ready to go. Let me cut the lime and make it ready for juicing. With this now, I am going to add some oil first. And allow the oil to be really hot. After that, I will begin by adding the garlic. Give it a heat for a few seconds. And now I will add some onions. Now you can see how beautiful the thing is looking, right? And also the pepper. We don't want it to be too spicy, and therefore we put less pepper, which is why I didn't cut much of the pepper. So at this moment I will add a few onions, and then I'll put my water, sorry. The next thing I want to do immediately after adding the water is to grab my noodles and add it to the water, and I'll cover it for a while. We allow it to be heated for some minutes, 1, 2, 3, and then see what we do next. As you know, sometimes carrots depend on the sizes. You know, you cut the carrots. Sometimes carrots take a bit longer time to cook. So if you cut it really big, make sure that you put it as fast as possible so that it can cook together with the stuff. Otherwise, you will finish cooking while the carrot is still raw. So with this now, I will flip the noodles and cover it again. And perhaps adding small amount of water again, and then let it cook for a few more minutes. I will now open again and check if it has started getting soft. So I'll just use my wooden spoon to break it so that it doesn't stick together, no, and also allow it to cook much faster. And then cover it again. At this time, I'll go ahead and add my carrots and then cover again. At this time, I can add a bit of my dried mint leaf, a little bit of dried ginger, and of course, if you want, you could perhaps put the ginger at the very beginning of the process. So with this, I'm adding the cabbage and also the seasoning. When cooking noodles, anytime I cook noodles, I would prefer to put the seasoning as the last thing. So you can see my noodles is cooked really well, and at this point I can turn off the fire. However, if you like, before squeezing your lime juice, you can allow it to continue to cook for a while. But if you like, you can squeeze the lime juice immediately after putting off the fire. And then still, while the fire is off, I will put my cucumber. So our noodles is much ready. It is now the moment of getting my egg fried. Let me cover it for a while. So, time to pour the egg, since the pan has gotten hot. And then as the egg is getting fried, we'll now make our plate ready for serving. And again, I would put, depending on what you are familiar with, you could also use the chopstick if you like. Let me check the egg. Okay, so the noodles should be served now. So while I'm getting my egg turned, let's go for a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still Adam's Kitchen on Trust TV, and we have been demonstrating how to prepare Adam's noodles. And our egg is now on a finishing touch, and therefore we are going to scramble the egg at this point. You know, depending on how you want to scramble your egg, maybe you may wish to begin scrambling it at the very beginning when you put it on fire. But with this process, we are scrambling it at the very much end of the whole process. So our egg is ready. I'll turn my fire off and then open the noodles. So you can see our noodles is much ready, and then we can now begin to serve. So you can see now that we have gotten the noodles served. Now go ahead and put the egg by the side. Next is to get our orange juice ready. Okay. Our noodles is ready, and I can't wait to test this noodle. You know, my mouth is already just getting ready, you know. As I said, for those who wish to use something else to eat, for me, I guess for this time around, I'm going to use the chopping stick and do the testing. Okay. So delicious, absolutely fine. The pepper is very much okay. It's not much and it's not much less. The vegetables, the seasoning, everything is just perfect. So having tested my noodles, you know, I'll just go ahead and flush it with my awesome orange juice. I just feel like falling asleep, you know? Really, really awesome, really amazing. With this, we have now come to the end of this episode, and I hope that you found it really useful, and you'll continue to watch the program and continue to learn through the process. And with this, I will say we hope to see you in our next episode, and bye for now.